This episode of the Restoration Today podcast is brought to you by Violin's new V Street platform. We all know that running a business in the trades can be tough, but you don't have to do it alone. V Street, Violin's new online platform, gives you access to hundreds of trade-specific business documents, procedures, data, analytics, and CEC-approved training courses. Receive practical guidance from their team of expert advisors to help you build a successful business. And right now, you can try it for free. Check it out at violin.com/vstreet. This episode is also brought to you by Epic Estimates. Whether it's fire, wind, water, or mold damage, Epic Estimates delivers fast, accurate estimates for your property damage needs. Using Xactimate and Symbility, we take your scan documentation and scope to create detailed estimates, helping you save time and avoid costly mistakes. Visit epicestimates.com to learn more. Hey restorers, thanks for checking out a fresh episode of the Restoration Today podcast. Today I have a guest that's been a long time coming on the show, and I don't mind teasing him that we've been talking about having him as a guest on Restoration Today for years at this point, and he is finally gracing us with his presence. So I am excited to be joined by Lane Larsen, who is the founder of Clean Claims. His company is growing like crazy, which is why scaling by himself mostly. He's been so busy and hasn't been able to be on the show, but now he's got help and he's kind of getting to delegate things out. And he has a lot of exciting announcements and a lot of exciting developments that are coming down the pipeline. So Lane, thank you very much for being here. It is always a pleasure chatting with you.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. So go ahead and kind of introduce yourself to people who might not know you and your smiling face from the trade show circuit.
Okay, yeah, Lane Larsen. I guess background about me is I come from the construction restoration world. I built my own construction company. I sold four of my own restoration companies. That's kind of my background. And then I started Clean Claims software and process enforcement software and remote monitoring. We've been building the software for 4.5 years now. So yeah, that's a little background on me. So I come from the restorer's perspective on things, and especially translating that into the software side is where my obsession is gone. So yeah.
So when you were on the contractor side, what issues were you seeing that led you to think there needs to be a software for this? There needs to be a platform to troubleshoot this problem.
Oh man, if I'm putting my restore hat on, right? Like I'm trying to be like nice. So here, my opinion as a restorer, right, there was a lot of different things you could use out there. And this is my opinion, I felt like they were either built by the insurance carrier or a software company that thought that they knew what we needed.
Yep.
And I used everything out there in the industry and it never did what I wanted. Like my nightmare was the first 6 years I started my business was just missing data. Every Wednesday meeting with my company and my whole team, it was the most worthless, unproductive meeting ever. We just get together and all I was doing was asking, where's your pictures? Where's your readings? Why don't we document? Why are we going to get paid? Like the never ending battle where I'm blue in the face for 6 years of just like, this is never going to get solved. So that's kind of where it stemmed from, is just the frustration of hired really good people. Everybody knows that, turnover is kind of high in restoration. It's hard to find a lot of people that want to clean up, category 3 jobs for a while, and doing that. And so it was just like, how do I streamline this and not have to train every day, all day and get the results that I want? And that was what never existed for me. It was just like, I can never get a technician to do what I need them to do if they're new or they don't know. Right. So it was balancing having like a 30-year veteran work for me that, knew better than me, apparently, and then having a one-day-old guy. So it's like, how do you bridge the gap and make it to where everybody in your company does exactly what they're supposed to do? So that was kind of where it started, with the frustration of almost wanting to get out of the industry, because it was, as we grew, I was just losing control. It was just organized chaos. It was literally like, if we're going to keep growing in different areas, I have to be able to control what's happening or I'm going to lose my mind. So that's really kind of where it started.
Okay. So, from there you found the pain point. So sorry, my brain just left my body for a second.
You're good.
Hold on. Well, that doesn't happen to me very often.
There's a lot going on. Like there's Helene's going on. I mean, there's too much going on. No worries.
There is. And the landscaping company showed up to mow my neighbor's lawn, and I'm listening to the lawnmower off to the side, and it's like, I'm pretty sure he can't hear that. I'm hoping that he can't. So, Okay, so coming from okay, explain clean claims and what clean claims is to like a third grader. Like, I am not in the tech space and I'm not a restorer. What is clean claims and what does it do?
I love it. We always refer, it's kindergarten level is what I always say. I'm
Okay,
like, for lack of
kindergarten, not
a
even
better
third
term,
grade.
sorry, it's kindergarten level. So
Okay.
essentially, clean claims is process enforcement, so day-to-day field documentation. So, and then on top of that, we do our remote monitoring. We have our proprietary and patented remote monitoring sensors. Okay, so the whole point of clean claims is to make it to where if technicians go out to the job, whether they've got 30 years of experience or no experience, I can turn every restore into a triple master restore. So it's essentially the processes that are built. It allows companies to dictate and control based on the type of loss, whether it's residential, commercial, fire, mold, water, you name it. You can automate the processes that you want your team to do. So when you create that automation of like, I want to require a picture of the front of the structure, I need an outdoor reading, it's now not an option. You don't have a choice to, if you want to do it, it's now you have to do it. And it timestamps every one of your users' logins, who did what, when, and where, and they can't move on to the next step. So the key is providing ease of use for the technicians. One tool, like we replace about 17 different software applications in one. And then, and then integrations into other softwares are critical because we're eliminating that double, triple entry, right? So it's essentially just getting the job from point A to point B, making it so that the critical data being collected in the field is collected day in, day out, every single time, no questions asked, creating that consistency that's never existed in the industry. So that's literally what it's doing, is streamlining that. And then with the remote monitoring side, is us being that we provide our own Wi-Fi and then the sensors that hook up to it, you get live real-time readings. It's the easiest system that we've researched and compared to use, and the most accurate for clients to use it. So Hurricane Helene right now, we're in the middle of it, right? And it's terrible to hear about all the disaster and hear it and see it, but it's super cool and rewarding to see how it's helping all of our clients and their teams. Like we got clients in we've had the governor of Louisiana at one of their jobs, and they're looking at all of our reports from clean claims and all the psychrometric readings from the remote monitoring. So anyway, I'm getting on a tangent now, sorry, but
Okay.
essentially it's taking field documentation, remote monitoring, and making it to where we have clients that sign up and do no training, and they can run through and do the whole thing. That's how easy it's built, for ease of use. Like, so you get perfect documentation no matter what, but it's kindergarten level, for lack of a better term.
So how is this helping restorers on like the end of middle, and I don't know, it's not even really the end. How is it helping restorers get paid? That's like the hugest, the
Yeah.
biggest, hugest. Wow. I really today.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, like all these events that we go to and people have panels and it's like, how do we bridge the gap between
Yeah.
insurance and, and I'm always in the back, like, I know, like it literally, it simplifies it. I think we've overcomplicated in the industry to where you need 10 different programs to make it happen. When you break it down, and this is again, my perspective as a contractor, all the critical data that gets you paid, that you know what's going on, how many days, eliminating the 3-day dry it all comes down to what's being captured in the field by the technicians. So that's the backing behind it. The easier you can make it for the technicians to collect that data, then the easier it is. That just trickles down, then the easier it is to get paid. So for example, when you're providing daily irrefutable data live, of what it is, and you're sharing that with an insurance carrier, we have clients that do this all the time. We have different capabilities where you can share that data live. So now instead of the normal that we do a 10-day dry out, we finish and then we start the debates or arguing, whatever you want to call it, depending on the company, that goes away. So we've had clients where they're sharing the data live with the adjuster, the homeowner, the client. And now it's not a debate of whether I'm getting paid for 3 days or not, or what equipment's there. It's now everybody knows what's going on, and it eliminates having to debate about whether you should get paid or not. I tell a story all the time that sticks out. We had a client that got paid out on a 16-day dry out. In 4 days, they got paid out $1.8 million in 4 days of completing the job, because we have a feature in clean claims that's called a daily snapshot, where you can send that report out live with a link, or every day you want to click on it, it sends out a report. So they send out that report to all parties involved, so they know what equipment's there, they know how it's drying, what's going on. And so when the job is completed, here's your check, because there's nothing to debate now. And so it's just like, if you have the data, it's that saying, and I've said it to everybody, I'm obsessed with documentation. It's like, we don't get paid for what we do in this business, we get paid for what's documented. So if you didn't document it, then you didn't do it. You can say you did it all day long, but that's where the nightmare of the arguing starts. So that's what our software does is it keeps it simple. It makes it so that the techs in the field get exactly what they need, but make their life easier, and that's where it all starts is the data in the field. So if they can collect it and make it accurate, then that just trickles down and there is no need to argue. There is no need to wait. The last year we've been building this specifically for commercial. So it's
Mm.
been unreal to see huge clients of ours, especially now on Helene and the amount of jobs that they're on and how much it's helping. And then calling us and, it's always flattering when they're like, this has changed our life. Like it makes us look amazing. Like we're getting paid out when we want to. I mean, that's the whole point. So it's just simplifying, capturing the data in the field, and then that solves all the rest of the problems. And the most part is that it is what it is, and then you get paid. You don't need to debate about it. So that's the big thing.
You don't need to debate about it. Restorers will be happy to hear that. All right, let's talk about the integration piece. You've teased it up a little bit, and I know that you have some big integrations that have happened or are coming down the pipeline really soon. So, talk about that aspect of it and why integration in our industry is so important. I feel like that goes a little unsaid, the reasoning behind it, but it is so important and it's kind of lacking in a lot of areas. So, what's happening with integrations?
Well, I'll say what drives me nuts again, if I put my restore hat back on, is everybody says they integrate and it's amazing, but do you? And like how much of an integration? That's what drives me nuts, right? And so my obsession is with how great our software is and amazing and what it does. You got to have seamless, easy integrations in order to make it worth it, right? So we've got PSA, for example, Can-Am Systems. We have an amazing bi-directional integration with them. So admins live in PSA, but the techs live in clean claims. And so they can push the data, everything they put into PSA, it pushes over. The techs in the field, everything they do in clean claims, it pushes that data back into PSA. So it's all live data, but it feels like even though you're in two systems, it feels like you're in one because of how it pushes that information. So integrations with Accelerate, Magic Plan is our newest and most like awesome one because that instant sketch tool is amazing. So that integration is amazing. Once it's set up, it's again, you're flowing back and forth between clean claims and Magic Plan, but you have no idea. You live in clean claims and that data is moving back and forth without you even knowing it. So that's the key. So integrations are huge. You got to eliminate that double, triple entry. That's where a lot of those errors start is that the information was correct here, and then you put it in over here, and then you miss something, and then now it throws off the whole thing. So just having that seamless and eliminating the human element and making it do it is that amazing feature to have that. Eco Claim is a new huge one that we're partnering with. We're launching and announcing that one. That one we're really excited about as well. God, there's so many integrations that we're doing that we work with. So we're trying to be plug and play. We're solving the day-to-day problems that don't exist. We're solving those problems. And so we want to tap in to all the other, pieces that like, so if you have a CRM you love, good, keep it. We're just going to attach onto it and we'll solve your day-to-day problems, but make sure that data gets pushed back into it. So that's the key is just, it's got to be simple. The integrations are huge. You have to have our integration with Verisk. We're beta testing it with a couple clients right now. So we're fully integrated into Exact Analysis bi-directionally. So carriers can push in the data, push it into clean claims, and then the vice versa. The contractor can push it in and then the carrier can see it. So we're launching that. We have a goal of Thanksgiving to have that live out to the public as well. And so that's just phase one. There's like a lot more to come. So yeah, a lot of really key critical integrations that we're doing that have been awesome, that are seamless. And so I've kind of told companies that we work with, I'm like, I can't sell double and triple entry. That's what everybody's selling in the market now. I said, so if you guys can't integrate how I need it to, or how we need it to, then like, let's just not integrate because I don't want to tell people that we are. And then now you got to log in, log out, and then do double, triple entry. That's what everybody else seems to be doing. So that's the number one for us as an integration is that it's a true seamless integration. So it's key.
I like it. I did a podcast with Andreas at Magic Plan earlier this morning,
Oh
and he
yeah.
also was talking about the integration back and forth and how excited they are. So, um,
Yeah. It's been
how
really fun.
how big is your team now? I'm curious, like you've scaled this quite a bit and not just in the US in a few short years. So I know your team has recently just grown, but outside of maybe the last few months, how big was your team leading up to the last few months?
Oh man, we were skeleton because we've been beta, like I've been obsessed with getting beta. So the last 2 years, everybody that's seen me or use it has just been beta. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
use it, tell me what you like, what you don't like. What's so exciting is now We've got our app in the App Store. Like, we don't need a beta anymore. We know what it does. We know what it's capable of, and it's gone live in the last like 4 months. And so in that 4 months, it's now, my partners, we've been talking about when are we going to hire a CEO and a COO, and when are we going to start to scale? And it's like we're just waiting for all the pieces to get ready. And honestly, Magic Plan was one of those final pieces to like, we knew we had to have that sketch tool, and especially the instant sketch tool. That's where I geek out. And I show it on like every demo because I don't have to wait 24 hours or whatever. So that was the key. And so when we decided that, like, we hired on a new CEO, Brandon Burr, and then a new COO. And then now we're just scaling and hiring on. We've had an amazing development team. And the reason why we've been able to move so quick is that we don't sub anything out. Our whole development team is internal. They're either in Utah or Texas is where our developers are. So they're all Clean Claims developers. They're internal, and that's how we can move so quick, is that we're not relying on third parties. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but India or anywhere else you can get development anywhere in the world. It's just, it's all internal, so we can move. So now that that's there, and now we're not in beta anymore, like it's starting to go quick because the product just speaks for itself. It's like all the demos we do, it's like, here's what it does, here's a couple jobs for free, don't take my word for it. It's like we're not trying to lock people in and sign contracts to sucker them into it. It's literally, here's what it does, go use it. And anybody that takes us up on that just starts buying it. I mean, we had 6 people just from Monday. I mean, today's what, Wednesday, sign up from the website and already started using it. And we haven't even done any training with them yet. I mean, that's how easy it is to use. And it's just been from word of mouth and people, the word spreading about what it does. So anyway, it's been super exciting. So building teams and really starting to take it to that next level. So it's been great. We got more funding so that we can really start pushing. All the funding that we've done previously was all towards building it, obviously. And now it's like, all right, we're ready to go. Let's start moving it. So it's been exciting. So working with different insurance carriers from the US, Canada, Australia, working with tons of different contractors in all those countries as well. In the UK, we're actually launching in the UK with Verisk as well. So anyway, exciting things coming up. So it's been awesome to finally, after years of, and I didn't know, I'm the first one, I didn't know anything about software, and I still don't. Like, that's why I hire really smart people, right?
Yep.
But I thought this was going to take a year or two, and it took like 4 years. But what's insane is still how fast we were able to do that, even with a skeleton crew. It was unreal. So anyway, I keep going off on tangents, but that's the fun. I'm really excited about how we're scaling, and then like the culture that we're building and how we're able to mass the market. So being able to create the processes, tracking everything, just like we know where every penny is going, what clients need. Customer service is huge for us. Like, you have to have that all day long or else you can't get it. So our big thing is, I told my team, they always laugh. I'm like, welcome to the 24/7 disaster world. We work and take calls 24/7. It doesn't stop. So my team's kind of had to learn as I train them about restoration, but our customer support's 24/7, phone calls, emails, live chats on the website. Like, that's the key. So it's just, anyway, super fun that we're to that point where now we're starting to really scale, that it's not a beta thing anymore. It's going. So yeah.
And hopefully Lane not running around like a crazy person, all these trips and travel, and probably still some of that, but
Yeah,
maybe now
for
that you're
sure.
getting a team, you'll get to.
Yeah, it helps a lot.
I'm sure it does. Okay.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things to ask anybody on the podcast is a favorite story from the industry. You've been on the contractor side and on the vendor side now. I'm sure you have a lot of stories, but is there something from your time in the industry so far that sticks out as like, yeah, that was a memorable moment or job or whatever?
Oh man, I've got so many stories. I should have thought about this before we got on this call. God, one that really sticks out. I've had a lot of different moments. I've had aha moments on building the software. I've had amazing moments just with customers in the restoration side, and then on the clean claim side of what it's doing to help clients. So do you want like a restoration perspective or like software? I don't know. Anyone that stands out?
Whatever you want. You have
Oh man, I'll say one of the biggest, funnest, just personal, like as I was building my restoration companies and we were beta testing the software, it was all trial and error, through myself. I'd go out and try it. This didn't work. That didn't work. I think one of the best moments ever, there's a couple that come to mind, but one was I hired 2 insurance adjusters to work for me, to make sure that we were billing things out correctly. I bought them a car. So I bought a brand new car, wrapped it, in our company logo. Hired these guys. First day that the first guy came on, he was with Liberty Mutual, I think, for 13 years. And I said, okay, here's the new software that we're using. We were wrapping up a 10-story flood downtown Salt Lake that we were on. And I said, I just want you to go through and look at all of this sitting at the computer at our office. I want to see if you can see what's happening without actually going out to the job, right? So he's like, okay, cool. So very first thing he notices, so it was a Cat 3 loss, 10 stories, started the 10th floor all the way down, right? So everything had to be demoed. So we're looking through the job, and we required before videos, images, thermal, and then after, right? So we're looking at the scope of work that was required, and on the scope line item, it just said, antimicrobial, the clean and disinfect or whatever in a bathroom. And so we're like, okay, so we look at the before video of the bathroom, and it stalls, tile, floor to ceiling, everything, right? And then we look at the after videos, and it was completely demoed. They told us to take it all out because it was all Cat 3. And we demoed it, but the line item was scope. It was, the only scope item was antimicrobial. And it's like, so like, if I didn't go out to the job site or see that, like, the insurance isn't going to tell me like, oh, you missed all that, right? You would miss it, So he added, just sitting at his desk, seeing that one room added another $18,000 in revenue that would have just been missed. And then that included helping for the rebuild and the putback side, because I'm a general contractor and we would do the rebuild as well. And so on that first job day that I hired him, right there, he probably saved us, and he sat at the desk. He didn't have to go to the job site. He added another 50,000+ to that job that would have just been missed had we not had that information, right? And the funny part is that it was awesome seeing that. And it was like an aha moment that the software's working and doing what it's supposed to. And then they're like, well, we probably don't need that car because like I can see everything I need to. And I was like, well, that would have been good to know yesterday before I wrapped it, because so that car, we had it for like 3 years, and I think it had 600 miles on it. It was literally just a parking lot ornament that my office staff would take to get the mail once in a while. So that was a cool moment that stood out for me, in not only because I was growing this and building the software originally to franchise my company, but it was an aha moment that it's doing what it's supposed to do. We're capturing the data to know that we did it right, and it is what it is, and we're not leaving anything on the table. And so that was a cool aha moment of like, hey, we're making it happen. So there's one of probably thousands that I have for you that stands out.
That's always the question that puts people on the spot, like a favorite story. Well, I have a lot, but I can't think of any of them right now, or there's too many to pick one. So yes. Yeah. Okay, Lane, well, anything else that you want to add before we wrap it up?
No, just excited. If you guys go to the website, sign up, request the demo. It goes to our calendar so you guys can check it out. We don't do contracts. It's literally pay as you go. And we offer a couple jobs for free in the beginning. So my big thing is, don't take my word for how amazing it is. Like, use it yourself and see what it can do. So just go to cleanclaims.com and take a look at it, and along with the remote monitoring as well. So that's I would say.
Awesome. I love it. Well, Lane, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate the chat, and I look forward to seeing you at shows in the future, maybe in Florida in December, maybe at Magic Plans event or something. So we cross paths often. So thanks for being on here. I appreciate you.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
For more Restoration Today and the latest news, visit our website, cnrmagazine.com, and find the latest episodes of the Restoration Today podcast on your favorite podcasting platform.